Hi everybody, this is Amol from Statusbrew. Welcome to today's product webinar that's about social media publishing 101. So this is a basic publishing webinar where we're going to talk deeply about the publishing with Statusbrew, how you can do it across all your social media, all your channels together at the same time. We'll just wait for all the attendees to join, and once we have everybody, we'll be beginning the webinar. Thank you. All right, I guess most of us are here now. So just before we begin, a little housekeeping. All of you would be muted for the best experience so that we have an amazing recording, which we can share with you tomorrow. And towards the end, we'll be answering any questions that you might have. You can also join us on Twitter using the hashtag BrewTalk. If you have any questions, you can drop us during the live webinar. We'll be taking the questions towards the end. If you just want to tweet about something, any experience, any feedback, you can do that with the hashtag DoTalk. Also, at the end of this webinar, we'll be having a survey where you can rate today's experience. So let's begin. So as I said, today's webinar is specifically about publishing, but before that, let me just quickly tell you, I am Amol. I take care of customer success here. I've been with Statusview for almost 2 years now, and the daily task, the daily routine I have is just taking care of our customers, starting from the onboarding during whole of their journey with Statusbrew. So I am the first point of touch. Me and my team, we make sure that anybody who is associated with Statusbrew remains happy. That's my motto. All right. So for the people who do not know what Statusbrew is, not if you're not using Statusbrew, so we are a social media management platform and we are built for teams. So even if you're an individual or an entrepreneur or a market from a marketing team of a brand, you can just collaborate all of your social media together at one place, just manage them. And we have been working with great brands since last 7 years. So that's quickly about Statusview. You can visit our website statusview.com for more info, and you can just drop us a mail at support@statusview.com if you have any questions, and we love to have you on board. Right. So we cover everything you need for your social. That includes the basic publishing that we'll be talking in length about today, community building, that's the growth on your social media, specifically about Twitter. So we have great tools for Twitter lead generation, social reporting, because reports are very important that help you analyze what's going on about your campaign, how are you performing, how is the audience performing, reacting to your social campaigns and everything. Lastly, engagement and listening, because that's the best part about social media right now. The whole of the social media is actually moving towards engagement, so you need to continuously engage. A lot of social uh, support has moved to social, and at the same time, um, it's now going towards a direction where people actually look forward to have meaningful connections rather than just randomly growing their audience and being very specific and having a personal touch with brands. So that's where the listening and the engagement part comes into place. Okay, so before I begin, I'll just like to quote. So there's a Bonfire Marketing Agency is a quite a great marketing agency that has a lot of clients, and they say 90%, 91% of the customers want their brands that they should brands they follow to be authentic in their social media posts. So that's what we're gonna talk about today: how you can be authentic, how you can be just natural, and at the same time just be strong in your storytelling, and and that's what is the base of a great social media, um, a great social media presence. Okay, so let's begin with the storytelling part. So for storytelling, I'll now be switching my screen and taking you through the Status Brew's publishing section. I will also be covering in brief the integrations which we have with certain third-party applications and how you will be engaging with your customers with all the campaigns that you are running, and also a brief touch about the social reports about how you will be analyzing how you are performing. So just give me a minute while I switch my screen. All right, so we are in the Statusbrew dashboard right now. This is how it looks like when you come. For today's purpose, we would be making use of a fictitious company named Wobbler. So that's just for the setup purpose, and that I'll be using for explaining the publishing section. So I'll just be switching the tab to move to the fictitious account now. Right. To begin with, let's start with how you will be making a simple post. So in case usually when you want to make post, you have to go to each application on your mobile or your desktop to make posts. But with Statusview, you can do that all from one place, and that too in an amazing manner. So just to start with, you just have to first of all choose all the social media profiles that you want. It's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Plus, Google My Business, and we're also coming up with Pinterest integration very soon. Once you select all the profiles that you want, I'll just be selecting a few ones now. Then you can type in any message that you want. Let's say I just wanna write a random message that hey, we are coming up with the Black Friday sales soon, so stay tuned. Once you do that, you can add emojis to make it more attractive. Let's say I just want to pick up this one, and then next you have the option to add media. You can upload your own media. You can search from our media libraries. We support Pixabay and Giphy and Unsplash and GIFs. In case you want to add GIFs, we have integration with Giphy as well. Also, we have a section called content pool where you can store your own assets. So let me just pick up one from content pool. Here you have all the assets that you have already stored about your brand. So it's just like your own personal drive storage inside Statusview so that you don't have to move around with different websites to download it from one place and then upload it to your social media, or exchange in case you're working in teams to exchange the same between with the emails or other things. You can just have it in one place. So once we have it here, you have the content pool, and it actually is pretty powerful. You can we'll be coming showing I'll be showing you this in detail, but for now you can just pick one from here, or you can just go back and you can just write about search an image. Let's say I just write about offers, and it's gonna show up with a lot of images here. So I pick up this image, and as soon as you click an image, you will be able to see how it looks like. So to preview how the post would look like before they go out on your social media, you can click on the post preview part, and you will be able to see how it looks like on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything, all the profiles that you have selected. Once the post is ready, you can either save it as a draft, or you can schedule it for future. You can either pick up a custom time or just push it to a predefined category. I'll be covering categories in the next part. So, or you can just send it live. If you have added any URLs in the text, they can be shortened automatically using Bitly, or you can even add your own shortening domains. If you have one from Bitly, you can add them as well. So just to give you a quick idea how the shortened URLs look like, let me just put one URL. I'll just put statusbrew.com/webinar. So as soon as you put the link here, and it will show up the link preview as well. So you have the option to either have an image added in your post, or you can have a link preview. So I'm just removing the link preview for now so that I can upload it with a post. And once that's done, for now I'll just pick a custom time. Let's say I pick up for tomorrow at 10 10 p.m. Maybe that's right. And then I'll just click on publish. So you must have seen there's a notification on the top about publishing. So I'll be covering, this is the Slack integration that I'd be taking up today. This helps you have live notifications about all your activities. It can be the post that you schedule, the post that get out to be published, any post that fails, or in case of teams, if you have multiple team members, you can even assign posts and send them for approval to your other team members so that they can approve and then it goes out. So I'll be covering that. So coming back to the publish section now, so you can see the post that we had scheduled would show up here. I'll just refresh it once so that you can see the post that I just scheduled. So, right, so now you can see these are the previously scheduled posts. These are the posts that I had just scheduled. So the links are already shortened, and the links are shortened with the random correct URLs, because if you're looking in for custom URLs, that is custom campaigns where you can define your own UTM parameters and all, that's a part of a whole different demo, which a whole different enterprise, that's the enterprise thing where you can have the campaign management and all. So that is something that we'll cover up in a later part, but for now this is how the URLs look like. Any URL that you shorten would be tracked for the clicks and everything. All the data that you need about the audience that is interacting with the URLs would be seen in the report section. So we have the posts in the schedule section. You can edit them, you can delete them, you can send them out before the time. So this just helps you to, you know, have a quick look about how well advanced you are already scheduled for your social media. So this is the scheduled post. You can also filter them by different channels or by labels. So labels is something that I did not show you, so I'll just edit one of the current posts. Let's say I just edit this one. You can also mention the labels here. So you can add up to 5 labels so that you can categorize the post at the time of scheduling about which type of campaign are they for. So this helps in the discovery later on, and also in the while analyzing, if you want to look which type of campaign is working great for you, this is of great use. So coming back, these are the scheduled posts, and once they get published, you'll be able to see them under the published post. So any post that goes out, you have the record, you will be able to see them here. Same way, if you are looking in for sending posts for approval, so let me just go back to scheduled and edit one of the posts. You have the option to send the post for approval. So in this case, you will not be sending the post to the scheduled post, but there's a step behind that you will be sending this for approval to your team. So if you check this and click on publish, so this the post goes to the approval post. So here is the approval section where you can see the post that you have sent for approval. The rest of the team members who have the access to the administrative access or the editor access for this matter, they can approve or reject posts. Once they're approved, they go to the scheduled post, and you can see all the live activity in the Slack. And even if they reject, they have the option to put a rejection note and send it to the rejected post. So in case of rejected, you'll be able to find them here later on, where you can see that the posts that are rejected have a proper rejection note and they're assigned back to the team member who had made them. You can also visualize all of this in the form of a calendar. So calendar gives you a quick idea about how your whole month or whole week is planned. And so these are the posts that we just scheduled for tomorrow. You'll be able to see them here with all the social profiles they are going in for, the times and the status. That's are they scheduled or they're pending approval or they are already published. If you look at the past post, if I look at the past post in this month, you'll be see they're already published. So you have the published thing here. So you can also even in the calendar, you can filter them by different social networks, filter them by categories. Categories is something that I'm coming to next. You can filter them by labels, just as I told, so that you can identify your different campaigns, or you can even view your drafts or scheduled posts or published posts, anything that you want in the form of a calendar. Right. So moving back to the planner now, I'll just like to show even if any of your post gets failed to publish on the social network. It happens when somewhere your account is gets disconnected from your the social networks, or the social network is down. So you don't lose the posts. You always have the posts there, and you can always reschedule them back, and that's where the failed post comes into help. Right, so this is the way where you'll be making your own posts. We also have content suggestions. I'll be just coming to that, but before that, let's jump to categories. So I talked about categories, that instead of picking a custom time at each point, you can also pick up categories. Just assign the post to categories. So categories are basically your saved times according to different campaigns. As you can see, there are different times saved for each categories. Um, you can have categories for your your promotional stuff, you can have for educational stuff, you can have for the giveaways, your affiliate posts, your Facebook videos, anything that you want, you can have them. Like just in this case, this is a fictitious brand that talks about networking and sells all the hardware about networking. So they, in this case, I've made different categories just like networking, where they talk about networking. Wobbler 2018 is their company posts. They also have a social corporate thing that's about the animals, and they can be posting about that. Giveaways, if they're doing giveaways, they can post about them 6 times a week. Facebook videos, affiliate posts, and also announcing that giveaway at the end of the week on Friday evening. So you can save times for any type of post that you want. You can make multiple categories and just save times. So if you just show you how to make categories, how they look like, I'll just edit this one. So just give your category a name and add the posting times across different weeks. You can add them for individual days, you can add them for weekends, weekdays, or every day. Once you have the times added, all you need to do is select which time zone these times are for. So this is very interesting, because if you're a global brand, or if you are trying to target the audience of a different time zone, a different country, a different geography, you don't have to think about what is the best time for them. When are they going to be most active? You already know that people are most active either in mornings or in evenings. So you already have that research that's working for your region. You know when you use social media, so you can just use those times in the categories and just specify that which time zone is this for. So if you push a post to a particular category that is for New York time zone, and as you can see, the times are 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it's gonna be published on these times according to the New York time zone, irrespective of where you are in the world. Then you can just assign your category a color so that it's easily identifiable visually. And coming back, you have all the categories. So that's how you save your posting times, and this is also very useful because we have category performance where you can compare which type of category is working great for you. You know which type of content your audience likes and does not like. So to move to the next step, that's the suggestions. So suggestions are basically RSS feeds inbox. So this is the place where you can curate content from. If you have websites that you know that you are sharing content from regularly, they're posting a lot of articles, news, blogs, anything that you know that it is in relation with your audience, or even if you have your own website and you are pushing in content regularly, you don't have to copy the links and then paste it on your social media, paste it here so that you can share the latest blogs that you publish. You can just set up. So most websites have RSS setup these days. It's just a simple few hours job to set up an RSS inside your website. And once you have that, you can just add the RSS links here, and any blog that they publish, anything that they push out to the public, you can see that here in real time. and all you need to do is just click on the share button. You just choose the profiles, the the post title is already picked up, the link is already attached, you can view how it looks like before it goes to your social media, and then repeat the same step of just scheduling it. So that's where the RSS feeds come in place. This is very useful when you are sharing a lot of content. If you're not making your own content and you are focusing on sharing, even if you are not, when you are making your own content, it's always good to share knowledge, because that is something that helps you to um, that helps people to look at you as a source of knowledge, so that people are return to your social media to look for the latest trends and all the things in your industry. So moving ahead, the next thing is the content pool. So content pool is the place where you can store all your company assets. So even if you are a brand, you don't have to maintain a separate Google Drive or a Dropbox. You can have everything at one place. You can store images. So I'll just show you the types that we support. You can store text documents, you can store images, videos, or even links. It's simple. You just have to click on upload content, add media. Let's say I just pick up this one, and then give it a title. So it's brand voice, and I can just even put a complete text. So text is actually the same thing that you can reuse when you are posting it on social media in the form of the post content. So if I just write something randomly, um, so I'll just write brand voice, pick two, and stick to it. So we had a webinar last week about the social media branding and how you can use social media to have a unique brand um, presence online. So it's just an example from that. You can watch our previous webinars in the from a website. You have the section there. So if I just so just to give you an example, so I have the image ready, I have the post content ready, I've just given it a title, and so after that I can again add labels so that you know which campaign is it's gonna be used for. So let's say I just write it as a company post and then share across all groups. So groups is something that I'm not gonna talk about today. So if you have multiple, if you're managing multiple clients or multiple profiles of different geographies, you can segment them into different groups so that at any given time you can just look at a specific set of profiles and you don't have to just move around a lot of profiles. So we'll be covering groups and the setup of the admin section in a different webinar, but for now if you want to share it across all groups, you can check this and then you can finally click on add. So when you click on add, you'll see you have the post here. So you can filter your assets by types. Let's say you want to just look at the images, you have the images. If you just want to look at the links, you have the links. So that's where it really comes into place. You can even filter by who created them. So in case you have multiple team members in the same account, you can filter them, and even you can filter them by different campaigns that you have. Just like I put this in the company post, you can just quickly jump into that. So so for reusing this image, you can just click on the copy button and you see you have already have the post text that you had already saved at the time of uploading. Just pick the profiles that you want and repeat the same, and you can just schedule it back. Also, when you are in Teams, you can have a conversation inside content pool. For that, you can just click on the image that you want. You can paste, you can just talk about, so that says this is the image that's gonna be used, so that you can just talk about where this image is going to be used and for so and so purpose, and then you can click on send. So this is a good thing when you are in Teams and you can have the communication at one place. So even if right now you are managing all your assets at one place, let's say like Google Drive or Dropbox, with just a single click you can bring all of that into Statusbrew. All the content, all the images, all the videos, you can just with a Dropbox and Google Drive integration, you can just fetch them all here so that you don't have to move around a lot of places while managing all your campaigns. So that's all about the publishing. To give you a quick look, so next is the content performance part. So content performance is the place where you will be looking at how well is your campaigns, are your campaigns working. You can look at all your previous posts. You have the stats on your right. I don't have a lot of stats here because this is a demo account. You can filter them by the date range that you want, and then you can look at your top engaged, top like, top click, top shade, as well as the least ones, so that you know what's working and what's not working for you. You can filter them by different social networks or by types. So this is a place where you know which type of campaign is working great. Moving ahead, as I talked about categories before, you also have the category performance. This gives you your best posting times according to what is your previous history. So it is unique for everybody. It tells which is the time across the days and of the weeks when you are getting most engagement and the least engagement, so that you can look at this and take it back to the categories that you make and make a category according to the stats that you see here. So if you know the results, you can push more posts according to those times, and that's gonna be really great because you'll know you would be sure that you know which times are working great for you, and push the content at the same time. Also, you can compare different categories. So you will be having the option to, when you have multiple categories, as I showed you before, you have the option to compare them. This helps you to know which type of content is which type of category, because each category is gonna hold a different type of content. One can be promotional post, one can be educational post. So in this way you know which type of content your audience is engaging more, and you can push out more of that content so that people identify you with a particular type of content. So that's about the publish section and making the post. There's one more thing. So we just talked about making pushing out one post at a time. We also have an option called CSV upload. So CSV upload is a place where you can upload posts in bulk. So I'll just show you how a CSV file looks like. I'll just download a sample CSV file right now to show, and I'll just open it. So CSV is basically a simple sheet. You can make use of any file like numbers, or you can make use of Google Sheets, where the first column holds all your posts and the second column contains all the links to the images. You can host images anywhere. You can host them in your drive, you can host them on free services like Imgur, or even in our Google Drive, even in our content pool, and just get the links to those images. Just make sure the links are publicly accessible. Once you have that, you can just export it in the form of a .csv file, a comma separated file. And lastly, all you need to do is pick which category you want to push this post for, and just upload the CSV file. So just pick up this file and upload. So the links would automatically be shortened, and then you see it's going back to planner. You have the post that you just scheduled, everything. So I just picked up Love for Animals one just to give you an example. So all the posts are scheduled in bulk all together. You can also specify dates and times on the go. If you're not going to use categories, you want to be very specific about the post. So I'll just download another sample CSV for this of this type, and you can specify the dates and times along with each post. So that's even when you that's very, so we don't recommend using this because it it's time consuming. When you already have the categories in place, you don't need to mention the times. But in case you don't want to make a new category, it's just a one-time thing that you're going to push out, you can specify the dates and times on the go and pick up the date time based CSV. Select the time zone that you want to use for these, the times that you mentioned is for, and then upload the same. So that's about the publishing section. So before I move to a different section, I'd just like to show a little about Slack integration. So as you could see, when I was publishing a post, when I was scheduling a post, publishing it, or just sending it for approval, uploading a CSV in bulk, at every time you saw a notification on the top. So that's where the Slack integration comes place. So making a Slack workplace is free of cost. You can just make it and you can connect it with Statusbrew. Any activity that you do, like, so you see a post has been scheduled, the posts that are scheduled, they're sent for approval, a CSV is uploaded, and your four posts have been scheduled. All the things can be viewed in real time inside Slack. The best part is they have an amazing mobile application that's also free of cost. You just need that mobile application and a Slack workspace, and once that's done, you can just connect it with Statusview, and all the activities, any post that's getting published on your social media, you have all the notifications on your mobile on the go. So I'll just give you one example. If I just push this post now, as soon as I push, you'll see you will have a notification on the Slack. If you push send this post now, it's gonna come. So you will see this post has been scheduled. You see the post published successfully, and so this is great because you will, even if when you have the scheduled post, you'll keep getting notifications on your phone as soon as a post goes out on any of your social networks. When a post fails, even if a post fails, you will have notification that a post has failed, so that you know that there is something wrong that I need to check. Maybe there's a connection problem, maybe the social network is down, or anything is there, so that you can jump right from here. You can just click on this button and directly it takes you directly to the status view account where that post is. So that's great because this is Slack integration is really powerful. So coming to the next step, that's the engagement part. As I talked about before, we have an engage section where you will receive all the DMs, comments, and mentions that you receive on all the posts that you have been sending out. So you don't have to move around with your mobile phones, checking your notifications across all your social networks, all of those things. You can just look at all the DMs, all the mentions, anything that you receive on all your posts, all from one place. You can reply people back from here. I'll just put an example, and then you can just reply to the people. It goes directly live to the same person. If it's a DM, it goes in DM. If it's a mention, it goes in mention. You can add emojis, add images, add GIFs, anything that you want. You can even have your saved replies here. So you can just save your reply, anything that you want that you know that you will be reusing a lot. You can save that, so that just with a few clicks you can send them back to people. You don't have to type in each time. There are cases when people reply back to your post and you want to take the conversation to DM. So in those cases, you can just click on send DM link and type your message, anything so let's talk in DM. So in this case, when you reply, you will see the tweet goes out, and at the same time it gives a option. So I'll just show you how it looks like on social media. So when I click here, you will see it goes reply to that person, and they have a link at the bottom, let's talk in DM. When they click on that button, the window opens up for sending DM to that person. So here you can just take the person can take the conversation ahead with you in the form of DMs. So that's really helpful, and we have all the shortcuts for this. And so that's about the inbox part. You can filter your inbox for looking at your social mentions, DMs from different social networks. You can filter them out by different channels or the type of conversation, like Facebook comments or Facebook messages or Twitter or Instagram comments, and so that you just have the feed that you want to look at. And once you can you and that's simple. Once you have replied to somebody, you can just close this conversation. The best part is when you are using Slack integration, that's not just for publishing. You also have it for the social mention. So um in real time, you get notifications on your mobile phone about any mention that you are receiving, any DM that you're receiving, and you can look at all. So you can just directly jump into anything that you find important without having to go through a lot of notifications, reading the whole lists. You anywhere on a social media, if it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any place you are receiving a mention or a DM, you will have that there in front of you using the Slack integration. So that's really helpful. So same way, this is one part, inbox. The next thing is listening. Listening is helpful when you are trying to reach out to a lot of new audience. So when you know that you have, you know the keywords that people talk about in your industry, you can just set up those keywords. You can push them, just save them, and once you have live feeds. So I just pick up any of the random ones, and you have the live feeds. You'll see you have the information about the people on the right. You can connect with them at the same time. You can follow them. You can reply them back, jump to the conversations. You can even ask, take the conversation to DM, just like your inbox. You can send them a link to send you a DM. So it works the same way as you will be managing your own comments and DMs. You can jump into conversation people are having about specific hashtags. So that's about listening quickly. We'll be having a different webinar where we'll be covering the engage section along with the Twitter lead generation. I'll be talking more about it at the end of this webinar. So that's pretty much about the publishing section and the engage section for today. Lastly, before we move towards the end, I'll also like to show you the reports. So in the report section, so I don't have a lot of data here. So let me just go back to the official Statusbrew account where I'll be having data to share with you. Right. So this is the report section and how it looks like. The overview gives you a complete overview of your brand across all the social channels. You have the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, anything that you want. You have the growth metrics, the engagements, how you're getting each day. You can look at, specify which time period you want to look at for. You can, or you can pick up day trends which we have already specified, and then um, you can just look at the posts, how many posts are you making each day, the audience growth part, the impressions, a lot of things, everything that you pretty much need to know about how you're performing. And this is the overview section. If you want to go into detail, you can look at the reports about specific social networks. You have reports for Twitter. I'll just show you for a different profile here. Right. So we have reports about the Twitter thing, about the engagement and everything, the audience growth, your top posts, demographics. I think I'm in the wrong profile. I'm really sorry. Let me just go. Okay, so I think I'll be having Twitter reports here as well. Right, so we have, you can see the engagement day by day, the posts, the audience growth part, your top post, the demography, which people are from, all of the things that you think you would need that are important for your um, helping you make the right decision, and as well as finding out where the audience is coming from. You have all the reports. Same way you have for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything. And I think that brings me the end to today's webinar. So next up, I'll just be switching my screen back to the presentation again. And right, so that brings me the end to the storytelling part, so, and the publishing section. So as you can see, so this is the mobile app version of Slack, how it looks like, the same way that I showed you on web. You have all the conversations and everything on your mobile. I would really recommend you to try out Slack integration. It's really powerful, and you will have everything that you need to look at in your hand in real time. So that's all about today. So now I would wait for your questions. Any questions that you have, I'll be just pausing for about 3 minutes so that you can send me your questions. And um, once we have the questions here, I'll be answering them. Thank you. For the people who are raising hands, I think because you won't be able to talk here, this is a one-way conversation. I would suggest you to drop me your questions in the question box that you have, and I'll be answering them. So I'll just be beginning with a few questions, and as more come, we can pick up. So the first question is, what about post to specific groups on social media destinations? So for now, we don't support Facebook groups to be specific. I mean, groups is I think Facebook is the only place that has groups, um, and we don't support that because a lot of people misuse that for spamming groups. But if we see a lot of people demanding this, we can obviously provide with that integration. It's not a very difficult job. We might look forward to this in the coming times, but right now we are testing it with a very selected people so that we know that if it's being used in a legitimate manner without encouraging spam. Right. So next question is, are our accounts safe from your employees? Can they impersonate us or view private conversations? So we at Statusbrew, we do not access your accounts in any manner. The only you have access to your accounts. The only case when we can have access to your accounts is when you allow us. So when in case you are facing any issues, any troubleshooting where we would need to look at your accounts, we would ask in a live call to ask you to share your screen with us, and that's how you can show us the errors. So that sometimes we have to look at the console errors so to find out if there's a bug specific to your account, and that's the only way. At in our team, the sales, the support, any person does not have access to your data. They can just view your activity so that they can suggest you with the best method to save your time if they have a suggestion, but they cannot read anything. They can just view how many posts you are pushing or how many conversations you are having each day, but can nobody can read that data. So the next question is the same. Do you sell our metadata or data? We don't have access to your data. Everything is encrypted. We cannot read. It's all enforced inside the system, and that's something we respect user privacy a lot. Um, so one is, are you bound by any constraints on content or location, GDPR? So for this, I have my team member with me, Tushar, who is an expert in the legal matters. So Tushar, would you like to add here?
So, so we usually only listen to public data from Twitter, and not from any other social network. And all the data otherwise that we use is generated in the system, and also the data that is only specific to your account. So when you log into Statusview, this is the minimum amount of data that we would pull in, and according to our terms and policies, you will find that this is and in case you want to remove this data, we'll give you a 30 days window to do that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tushar. Right. So one more. Let me just look at another question here. Oh, thanks, Michael. Thanks for your feedback. Right. So Michael also asks, if I want to send out the same message to different contacts, is there a maximum number of posts I can make?
Michael, if you want to send same message, that means you can send out the same text to a lot of people. We don't restrict you to that, but in case Twitter doesn't allow it, depends on public. If you do same mention, then Twitter would only allow one tweet, and it's up to them to decide which to block and how to block. If people are reporting your messages as spam, then it might be then you would be restricted, but we don't restrict it at our end.
Okay, so also if you're talking about the maximum number of posts that you can make, so at any given time you can the maximum number of posts that you have can have scheduled is depends upon your plan. We have plans for 100 posts at any given time, or 1,000 or 2,000. That's something totally. I think that's not what you asked, but just wanted to add that here. Right. So one more question here. Can I combine all reports in social media applications in one report and export? Yes. So we have export reports. We have you can generate custom reports. They are part of a higher, like the business plan, the higher plans. They're not available in the starting plans. The starting plans give you access to all reports, but if you're looking in for exporting them, we certainly have that capability. You can export them in the form of PDF files. You can just have the components that you want. And for agencies, we even have white label reports. So if you want to send out reports to your clients and not tell them that you're using Statusbrew, you can have your own branding on those reports. So that's, I think, about all questions. Thanks, Michael. And okay, so one more question. What about the notification? The app can give me at the same time. Yes, as I showed you Slack integration, so we don't have our own notification system built in because we have integrated with Slack. We leveraged Slack integration because they have amazing notification system. They have a free mobile app. Using Slack is free of cost, so it's best to use Slack integration, because even if we build a notification system, we still believe Slack is going to do that better than us. So you have this everything that you want for your publishing, social reports, your weekly reports you can push out in the form of notifications, your social mentions, DMs, anything that you, as I showed you before, you have that all in with the Slack integration.
And most of the notifications are real time. So whenever we have we have some event coming in system, like you mentioned, we'll just push that directly at real time.
Yeah, I already talked about that. That as soon as you receive a DM or a mention on social media, anywhere on social media, you will have a notification within a minute on your Slack.
We also plan to have a two-way integration with Slack. So in case you want to reply from Slack, you can do that.
Yeah, we are coming. We are already testing that in. It's already in beta, and we are testing that privately in our team. You don't even have to open Status Brew. Just from your mobile, you see an important DM or a mention, you can just reply it in Slack. It's very easy. It's just so time saving to do that. Okay, so I think I have picked up most of the questions for today. So if there's any other question, if you have anything else, you can just drop us here before the end of the webinar, and I'll send you the answers via email. Even if you have any other questions, you can send us a mail at support@statusview.com. We'll be glad to answer them. And at the same time, any feedback, anything that you want us to do next, or any questions that you might have left that you want to talk about on social, you can use the hashtag BrewTalk, and we'll be glad to take the conversation forward on Twitter. So before we end, I'll just like to talk about the upcoming webinars. So next Thursday, we're going to talk about how emotion is a great way when you are trying to bring out sales through social media. So how emotional connection with your um, audience can help you magnify lead conversions. That's what we're going to talk about next Thursday. And we had a lot of demand for this topic, and that's happening on November 1. That is targeted growth and lead generation for Twitter. We'll be talking in length about how you can scale your Twitter growth to just targeted people. Just find out the audience that you want and target them. Maybe it's from your competitors, maybe it's from certain keywords, and how you can convert them into leads, how you can export that data, and with the one contact integration you can take out their email IDs, their LinkedIn profiles, and connect with them. Everything of that sort we're going to talk about on November 1. So we'll be sending you email about registering for these webinars in the coming week. Also, in case you want to um, stay in touch about what we are coming up next, you can follow us on Twitter at Statusbrew. Any social network, we keep talking about that on social, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be quite interesting webinar. So thanks a lot again for your time. That's me, Amol. It was amazing to have you all here. If you have any questions, again, you can just drop us an email at support@statusbrew.com. You can sign up for a free trial on our website. We give 14 days, no obligation, cardless trial. and we would love to have you on board. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye bye.